Believe we are live now. Cool beans. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Road Runners Unfiltered. It's your host, Darian Starling. Thank you guys for being here. There's a lot to talk about. UTSA's regular season is over. We do have a bowl game to get to. And, you know, we'll get to some of the stuff on that. But there's a lot of hot topics that have, just been all over Twitter over this past week. And I want to get into them. I know one of them yesterday, I dropped a video that has gotten, a lot of good responses. I've been excited to just watch some of the comments in that particular video. And I talked about Jeff Traylor and him interviewing with the University of Houston. There was a lot of folks from the University of Houston, who are alumni, who are supporters of that program. They chimed in, they watched the video, they put their thoughts in the comments. It was interesting seeing that. I think the vast majority of the comments were folks from U of H or supporters of U of H. So I'm curious, if you guys have not had a chance to watch that, I would recommend you go do that and go check out some of those comments, because one of the things that stood out to me was the sentiment from them wasn't necessarily how can I put this? It wasn't necessarily bad or them making fun of our situation or anything like that, but it was sort of a thing like, hey, this has happened to us a lot. This is something you're going to have to get used to, especially when you're an up-and-coming program that does have success with limited resources. I thought some of their perspectives were, not bad. It was quite surprising. So I would encourage you guys to go check out that video and also check out those comments, because I thought that was interesting. I would love to hear what you guys have to say on this. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, but I think a lot of the stuff that I see on Twitter are from the same people a lot of times, because a lot of folks are really passionate about it. But the folks who come in every week and do these live chats with me, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about Traylor and his decision to look elsewhere, because that's exactly what he's doing. So obviously I'm going to go through my housekeeping things. If you are new here, I welcome you. I am glad that you're here. It would be great if you can drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And everyone who has been with me this whole year and has been here for a while, welcome back, and I'm glad to have you as well. And then also I'm going to keep plugging the Patreon. It's the link. If it's not in there right now, it will be by the end of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to that Patreon. There's a lot of new stuff coming. I'm going to be doing this stuff year round. I'm covering UTSA football from pillar to post. Every week there will be content for UTSA. I'm really excited about what's to push forward. And I also want to get some new equipment, and I need new lighting. I need a better camera and all this stuff. So if you guys, best way to support me is to not only subscribe to this channel, but also subscribe to that Patreon. Now, with that out of the way, there's a few topics that I want to start off with. Now, the title of the video is the report card, right? So I want to go there first. I'm going to give you guys some a chance to weigh in on some of the Traylor stuff in the comments. I'm going to do a test comment to make sure I can comment. Okay, cool. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just talk about UTSA season overall. I think I wanted so I did a similar poll. I would say I think the live chat after the last game, and obviously I think a lot of that stuff, we're emotional after the game. We're upset that we lost. And I wanted to, give it another thoughts, right, and give myself some time, a few days, to absorb what happened and look at the overall season and kind of, find some thoughts that I would have on, what this season was about. And obviously the Runners finished at 8-4, which I think we all expected them to be a little bit better than this. I think whenever I first did the prediction show with Aeneas Henricks, his prediction was maybe like 11 or 12 games. My prediction was, I believe, 9 to 10. I believe I was stuck at 10. There was 2 games, a couple games there that I thought that we'd have trouble with, and those games we did lose, and we lost a couple of others that I expected us to win. But when I look at the season, I think that there in some ways we got exposed a little bit. We got exposed. I think and I don't necessarily think we got exposed in the AAC, but what I did see was we didn't take a progressive step this particular season. And I to me, that's not me being a Debbie Downer or pessimistic about, what we did, overall in that season. But the way I look at it is, if you look at the seasons before, Traylor's first season, we were okay, but obviously that's the first season. And then you look at the last two seasons where we won conference titles and we looked unbeatable, but at the end of the day, we still lost those really big pivotal games. We still haven't beat a ranked opponent. We still have failed to win a bowl game. But you could see us building upon something each and every time. And obviously, I think that I think the program, it's not always going to be an ascension forward, right? That's not going to happen. There's going to be volatility, especially in football, a game that has so much parity, and you just don't know, who's going to be great on any given year, right? But I think for UTSA, with the nucleus that we had, I think that, some of the chips in our armor were exposed a little bit. I think we relied a little bit too much on certain guys, and I think it bit us, quite frankly. I think it bit us. It bit us early in the year, and it ultimately bit us against Tulane at the end, and it didn't give us a chance to make history and capture a title, a third consecutive conference title, but a title in the AAC with our first year of competing with them, right? So, I do think we got exposed a little bit. I think that one of the things that I think that stood out for me was, we had so Devin McEwen at receiver. The receiver position to me was really, it was a touchy subject because it's a difficult situation. So we lose Zachary Franklin to, I guess, the NIL situation and the transfer portal. Regardless, maybe I'm sure it had to be money that lured him away ultimately. But the transfer portal, he left. And him not being on our team, regardless of how, I'm not trying to cry over spilled milk, but it is what it is. Us not being able to retain him really impacted our team. It was very clear early on Frank was not comfortable throwing to other guys outside of Joshua Cephas and Big Oscar. It took him a while to get comfortable throwing the ball to Devin McEwen, which he started to do that as the season progressed. I think he got comfortable throwing the ball deep to Tyke Ogle-Kellogg, but he didn't get a lot of catches also. But if you just look at it, who did Frank rely on the most? He relied on Joshua Cephas. Play calls was more so for Joshua Cephas, which is hence Joshua had, a big season, first team all conference, all of that stuff. I think that that type of thing exposes you. You have to find a way, even if it doesn't look the same. What made us so dynamic is because we did have a receiving core, and we did have receivers in Zachary Franklin, the JT Clark, and obviously JT Clark's injury played a part in this too. But we need to reload. Us reloading is where we kind of misstepped a little bit, I think, and that's something that just has to be talked about. I mean, listen, it's my opinion. I think that, we could have done better. I think our running game was just not as consistent. I think it turned out. So our running game built upon itself, and we looked a little better. As the season went on. But our running game just wasn't as consistent as I thought. When you look at the year Kavorian Barnes had last season, dude, he looked like I was singing his praises maybe a little bit too high, and this could be my fault. I put, my expectations were a little bit too high, but in my mind, he was going to come in and be one of the best backs, if not the best back in the conference. And for whatever reason, from this, I don't know, there's just a completely different player to me from last season to this season. And the key thing to me was the breakaway speed. How many times did he break? If you just go look at last year, how many times did he break and nobody was catching him? Yeah, we didn't see that once this year, right? He broke for big games. Don't get me wrong, but he got caught, right? And sometimes that comes too much of maybe he came in, he was a freshman at that particular time, and obviously as you grow into your body, you're going through all this lifting and stuff like that. You get some guys may get too big, you may sculpt the body too big, and you probably sculpt it because you know that you're going to give him the ball a lot, and you need him to be able to be durable and absorb a lot of punishment and also dish a lot of punishment. That I do think he did well, but I also think you lost some of the dynamic home run hitting playmaking that he offered by doing that, right? So I think that can be seen as a bit of a misstep there, just to me. But obviously Rocco Griffin and Robert Henry came in, and when those guys broke, with nobody catching them. So we were able to supplement that, obviously, but I would have liked to seen things to be more consistent, because I think we had to grow into having a three-headed monster. It wasn't a three-headed monster as we came in. The idea was, hey, we're gonna turn around, hand the ball off to our bell cow, and let him bring us to the promised land, and allow him to take pressure off of Frank Harris and those receivers on the outside, right? So, it is what it is. I also think I'm just looking at, I'm going to go to the positives here in a second, but I do want to acknowledge some of the reasons why, like, my grade is not going to be an A and it's not going to be a B plus. But like, I also look on the defensive side of the ball. I think our front seven was great. I think Cam Alexander had a really good season out in the corner. I think his first couple non-conference games wasn't perfect, but he grew into the season and then became a really, really powerful person on our defense in that corner position. He ended up having a really good year. I think we got exposed a little bit at safety. I don't think that they covered well. I think they ran. Listen, I think Rashad Wisdom was just a beast at coming in and fitting the run. But I'm happy he got first team all conference. But he gave up a lot in coverage, and I bet he'd tell you the same thing himself if you got him in a room and turned on the film, right? I can guarantee you he's probably like, yeah, I've covered better than that in the past. But I'm not just picking on him. He's the big guy who it's just a legend and a great. So I don't want to talk too much bad on the other guys, but I just think at safety we didn't cover well this year. I think that's something that we're going to have to shear up in the secondary, and I hope we shear that up for a bowl game. I really want to win this bowl game. I think, listen, we didn't get conference. Cool, that's fine. But I tell you this, and I put this question in here, and everybody slammed me for it, and I get why, because I think I asked the question wrong. I think this season's success, or I think this season can be salvaged greatly if we broke down that wall and won a bowl game. Frank has already done everything. This group of seniors have already won a ton, but we haven't got that bowl game. They have an opportunity, in my opinion, to really change the tone of what this season is by winning that bowl game. And I also think, let's say Jeff Traylor decides to say, hey, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to, leave, right? You know what'll shut everybody up, at least in the short term, is winning that bowl game. All right, we got some comments coming in. I'm going to jump to some of those. Let's see. Chris P. Bacon, what's going on? Says, I think B is a fair assessment. Excuse me. I think a B is a fair assessment of the season as a whole. Let's see. Barton's RV in Uvalde, Texas. This is a new subscriber. Welcome, my brother or sister, whoever it is. Conference A, they only lost one game. Non-conference C. Okay. I'm with you, sort of. I'm probably going conference. If I'm being, so I guess I'll give my grade. My grade on this is, I think our conference grade would be an A minus for me. And it's really because I feel like we should have beat Tulane. I'm just being honest. I think we shot ourselves in the foot, and we had an opportunity to, like, if we were outmatched, I would understand the A, but we weren't outmatched. We should have won that game. You know, we can't. The turnovers were embarrassing. Some of the things we did defensively were embarrassing. You know, so that has to reflect in my grade. So I'm gonna go A minus. On a non-conference, I'm gonna go a C. I'm sorry. In a non-conference, I'm gonna go a D. I didn't like our non-conference performance at all. If I'm being honest, we lost to a Houston team we should have beat. We barely beat Texas State. What is it? We got steamrolled by Tennessee, and then we lost to Army again. Like, ugh, not great in my opinion. Jared says the loss of Franklin wouldn't have been as bad as Clark was healthy. Absolutely. But here's my thing, though. I'm glad you brought that up, because it would not have been as bad if Clark was healthy. However, here's my thing, man. Like, how do we get guys like that, right? Like Zachary Franklin, when he came in as a freshman, was balling. You know, like these guys, Cephas, whenever he came, these guys played at a high level, you know, while they were young, you know. Like, we remember the last 2 years, but they played well that year before also, right? And when I say last 2 years, I'm including this one, so this one and last year. But the year before that, we won a conference championship. They on the back of the same guys. They played well as a youth as well. To me, you know, I think Devin McEwen got it going, obviously. And I think he's going to be really good for us going forward. But, you know, it took most of the season to for him to get to that particular situation. And I just think we just have to reload better. I think we put too much on, and it's not even maybe we do have the guys. I just don't think those guys got enough opportunities to really show itself. Devin did as the season progressed, but I would like to see some of the other guys just get more opportunities in the game. We rely way too much on just spamming Joshua Cephas, and he did what he could. He made a lot of plays, don't get me wrong. But, like, us not having threats every single, you know, or multiple threats at the receiver space to where defense has to adjust to accommodate them, it puts a strain on our offense, because now they can load the box. Now they can put two over here and sneak it on Joshua Cephas, which limits him getting one-on-one coverage and so many other things as well. And they can hold spies now for Frank. It can just cause a lot of things. It cause a lot of issues. And, like, if you don't reload and have those threats on the outside and teams don't fear of the receivers, it can disrupt so much else. It's your boy Kev. Definitely a B. I think an A if they made it to the conference game. I'd agree. I'd probably agree. Yeah, and I'd probably agree. Ramon D says, when KB said he put on weight, my thoughts were he would slow down. Yeah, I didn't know that he actually said he put on weight, but I can tell. You can just see it. You can see it. The first thing, and like I said, like, this is not me doing any kind of fat shaming or anything like that. It's not that type of party. Like, obviously, you come in as a freshman. Like, when I came in as a freshman, I was $167. I left at 200 even, right? Like, you come in, and when you come into the program, they are going to put weight on you. You're lifting and working out days upon days. You're drinking you're drinking protein shakes, and freaking they're handing you protein bars as you walk away from practice. And these guys had, like, proper nutrition. We didn't even have proper nutrition. These guys are getting properly fed here. So, they're going to put on weight, and they're going to put on good weight. And like I said, I think they put on weight because they expected to hand them the ball 25 times a game. That's what it was. But whenever you do that, like I said, you're more durable and you can absorb more blows. But now, are you as dynamic and as elusive as you were before the weight? I think in his case, no. Jared says season was a solid B, but when we win our bowl game, B+. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm gonna go. Our season was, in my opinion, I'm gonna say a B-. That's probably me being a little harsh, but B-. I just expected more from our team, and I do think we had the team to do some things. Like I said, conference we did well, and I think conference we started to show form. We started to show what we were really about. But I think non-conference we could have. I'm sorry, but we should have beat Houston and we should have beat Texas State in a more dominating fashion. I don't care if they look better this season. I just think that, that's a team. I don't know. I just feel that we could have been better. It's just simple as that. What did Texas State? How did they finish though? Just curious. I remember when they were 7-5. Good for them. Good for them. We were only a game better than them on the season. Wow. Maybe I should rethink that. But even still, I think if you just watch the two teams on the field, I still think we were better. Let's see. So yeah, if we do win our bowl game, I'll probably put us up to an A. Like I'll move up a lot. I think that bowl game is big, man. Like it's great to make history. It's great to finally break through. Whenever you break through, it just does so much for a program. It does so much for the status, the feel. It does so much for the fan base that like we've done these things. We have the experience to do this. We've experienced this. We've experienced that. I really think that bowl game can really rescue some of the disappointment that this season has had. And I'm sure those guys are disappointed too. You think they're not looking at that bowl game like, all right, this is a redemption time? You think that bowl game now don't mean more? Like, think about it. Now, like, just think about with this particular team and this particular nucleus. We've won 2 conference championships over the last 2 years, and they've had that information going in their heads going into the bowl game. But they don't have that anymore. They don't have that anymore. They are going to go into the bowl game with the mindset of we let something slip through our fingers, because I know when they turned on the film, they knew and they felt that they were better than Tulane as well. They're going to feel that they gave that game away. You know what I'm saying? And I think, in my opinion anyway, I think that is going to give them motivations to say, hey, let's get a date. Let's get going. Let's go bowling, and let's smack up on whoever we're up against. You know, so, yeah, that bowl game to me will mean a lot. All right, Barton's RVing says, wonder what bowl game and if they'll finally win one. Dude, I hope so. I really hope so. I can care less what bowl game it is at this point. I obviously want the most prestige bowl game that we can possibly get at this particular point, but we need a victory, period. We need a victory, especially what we've been going through over these last few days, actually, in him or Traylor, interviewing with U of H. Yeah, it'd be great. Let's see. My man Mike, what's going on? He says, we need to win the bowl game to help elevate the brand. Absolutely. I still think we need to reevaluate the OC. So absolutely. I'm glad you brought up the OC. I can tell you this right now. And, for those of you who've been here this entire time, look, guys, our OC is not bad. But I think that it could be lack of experience, or it can be whatever the case may be. But the one constant, so in my opinion, he was inconsistent this season. He did get on a little bit of a run in conference play, but one thing that bothers me, and I sound like a broken record when I say this, but why is it that every single game we are all there's a consensus couple plays where we're all scratching our heads wondering why in God's name would he call that? That happened way too much. And what pisses me off even more is it happened a couple times against Tulane. And I've said this before. You cannot have bonehead play calls like that in these high leverage games, because they will lose you ball games. Every possession counts. Just because you practice something in camp and you want to use this play one time in the season just to get it on tape, dude, you can't take those chances in close games. You can't. He is going. I'm telling you, like, he's going to I guarantee you, he's going to go back and look at every single play call he made this season, and I'm hoping that he can see where this play call was a little off, and I hope that he can, be honest with himself and make some adjustments. I think, like I said, he got rolling. So I do think, and he did make some clever play calls too. Like let's not be totally one sided, but you know, just the consistent like head scratchers. We just got to eliminate that. That he has to eliminate that 1,000%. It's Rap says bowls are just a practice game. If it's not in the NY6 at the end of the day, if they win a bowl, it's C plus. If not, it's a C minus. Ooh, you know what? I'm not mad. So yes and no. Yes and no. I don't. Bowl games are there's a lot of people who don't put a lot of stock in bowl games, and I get it. Like but at the end of the day, I do think it's important for us. Like we are not above a bowl game victory right now. We're not above taking it serious right now because we haven't done it. I think for some of these other schools who have, a deep history and who've won a ton of bowls, I mean, they could probably care less. It's probably not super huge for them, but like winning bowl games, man, they listen. I can tell you it's a recruiting pitch. Number one, there's money involved in that type of stuff. That's also something that's important. I think it's also just like some of these guys, we're not going to get to, like, this is it. We won't get to see them play again, right? A lot of guys aren't going to go to the next level and be on the next level. So, like, yeah, go out, ball out in a bowl game. It'd be nice. Like, for some guys, this is another opportunity to show themselves to make it to the league or to make a case for them to go to the league. It's one more game to put film out on there. So, I'm not going to poo-poo on bowl games. With us never winning a bowl game, I'm not going to sit up here and act like it doesn't mean anything. In my opinion, it means a lot. Jared says, Amador is going to fill a big gap in our wide receiver room. The kid has wheels. Yeah, we'll see. I just want to see guys get opportunities to be able to showcase themselves. I think that's the thing that I was alluding to earlier, to where it's like we relied on specific guys so much that we didn't even get a real solid enough sample size for some of the other talent that we have and some of the young guys that we have that, just want to see what they're going to bring to the table. It's we just got to see. It's Rap says A equals NY6 bowl game appearance, B equals AAC championship game appearance, C winning practice game, aka no bowl game. Hey man, I'm not mad at it. It's Rap. Like, yeah, it's your opinion. I don't totally agree with you, but I'm with it. I am all for people with high standards. So, don't make me mad. Do your thing, brother. I like it. Let's see. Barden's RVing says, thing about bowl games now is all the NFL prospects will sit out. Yeah, possibly. And I'd love for our opponents' NFL prospects to sit out so we can win. Go for it. If you want a big shot at, go for it. I can care less. But it'll be great if not a ton of our guys sit out. I think the bowl game is important. But I tell you this. I wish there was a way they can make like some of these bowl games a bit more meaningful, so we don't have so much of people sitting out and not taking it serious, and people looking at it as a practice game. I think it'd be great if they did something about that. I feel like that sentiment is starting to take over the country, honestly. I feel like whenever I was coming out of high school, bowl games, I didn't care what bowl it is. I wasn't missing nothing. It was just so exciting to me. And I don't really watch bowl games much at all anymore. Like, except if obviously UTSA, but outside of that, I'm just like, okay. But I do think we need to get over the hump. It's your boy Kev says, isn't there bonuses for teams, coaches, if they can win? Absolutely. There's all kind of bonuses and stuff that comes with winning bowl games and stuff like that. That's why I think it's important. I think we should take it serious, and if we can get a victory, that would be nice. So yeah, my grade is a B- overall for UTSA this season. I think that with the nucleus and the core that we had, I think we should have been a little better in non-conference. I'm not mad at us. Listen, Tulane's a good team. I think we were better, but I just didn't like the performance. I thought the performance was Just not a great representation of what that nucleus is about and what those seniors are about. I think that they just didn't play like road runner Jeff Traylor football, to be honest. And there's a lot to blame there, and there's a lot of people to question on some of the play calls and things like that. But I think that was the thing that probably added the minus to my B, was that it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth to end on a game like that, doesn't it? But yeah, I want to transition the conversation to Jeff Traylor. The main reason, and I would love to hear from you guys in the comments here, but the main reason yesterday I wanted to go ahead and give my candid thoughts on the Jeff Traylor bit of news is because I know on the chat I might not be able to get everything I want out because of questions and me rolling with you guys and answering your questions and talking about it from that perspective. But I was thinking about some of this today, and the one thing I'll say about the Traylor situation, and I'm just kind of reiterating what I was saying yesterday, but like, to me, this shows him interviewing for the job, and there's rumors that this is his second interview and that sort of thing. He just doesn't have confidence in the UTSA leadership, man. And probably the things around the program as well. It probably has something to do with the support from the city. There's a lot of folks making the point about the students not voting, the student vote having a huge impact on what he's going to do. That is a very fair thing to think. And that, listen, I always say this, man, when there's smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire. 100%. People have been coming for Dr. Campos or Ms. Campos for months, not even just this season, seasons prior to. And I would always veer away from those conversations because I'm not informed enough to know what what the job that they are doing, how they're doing it, so on and so forth. And I have talked to I've talked to more people this year that is around the situation, just so I can better understand what her job is, what is supposed to be done, the difficulties of the job, and what things should look like in an ideal world. So I did do some homework on that stuff just to get a feel, so I can better prepare myself to talk about some of this stuff. And what I'll say is, I do think things are being done, but are they being done at the rate in which, like, football's, it's coming around every season. Some of these things, like, I'm going to tell you what's a bad look. It's a bad look that it's like our head coach has been asking for and trying to get an indoor facilities for years. That's a bad look. It's a bad look. It's also not great that our head coach, and listen, this is not foreign. If you go look at other programs, you see some of this too. But to me, I'm just talking about, like, if I'm in her shoes, my thoughts, it's gonna play with my mind a little bit, right? Like, hey, this coach is getting interviewed, and he's openly, like, kind of calling me out, saying, hey, I don't have the money. I don't have the money to do these things. And he may not be calling her out directly, but, like, it is something that she has a heavy hand in. And like I said, they're trying. They just gave $2 million for him to help better pay his staff, so he's not losing folks and that sort of thing. But actually, that's another story that I'll get into in a second. But, the fact that he's having to beg and plead for this stuff publicly, it's just not great. It's not great. And listen, like, people throw slugs at donors and people who don't contribute money and stuff like that. Like, I say this, I just don't think, and I've said this before, I don't think that I don't think the head coach should be the main talking head on trying to get people to donate money and to like, you know, support the program. Like there are things in place that should, from my understanding, there's a lot of things in place that other people should be doing these things or should be more openly and outwardly spoken about some of this stuff. There should be more campaigns for, you know, money and to get money. It should be more campaigns for the students to get more involved and that sort of thing. So we can influence votes and things like that, right? Like those things, I feel like, I don't know, it should just be a given to me. And I think that I do know for a fact that there are people that are big supporters of the program that are not, I mean, I think some of it's obvious. They're not happy with it, but they are trying to take action to make sure that the requisite resources are put in place. And it's not, you know, it's people that is like not necessarily inside the program, but that's outside of the program with a little bit of influence who are actively trying to make things move. And to me, that's just never a good thing. Obviously, there's a lot that's being said about the money she's making, the money folks around her making. And I would advise you guys to do money or do some research on some of that if you don't already know. And, you know, there's a sentiment that, yo, you're making all this money, you're getting paid all of this, and we're not seeing the results. And at bigger schools, you'd be gone already, you know? So, yeah, just interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. We got a couple comments here. H. Bano says, students aren't going to vote for an increase in athletics fees until parking is resolved. I know people that are pissed they are being asked to pay more fees when they have to walk 20 minutes to class. Ooh, I remember those walks to class. Yeah, not great. Listen, I don't blame the students. Like I said this before, man, I don't blame the students. I just think a lot of it is they don't understand the benefits. My wife is an alumni as well. And like we've had the conversation about it, and I had to explain to her what the benefits are. She had no idea. She said I would have voted the same way. Like, why would I increase my tuition? I don't know what that, like, you know what I mean? So like, I think the people who are supposed to deliver the message is just not getting there. That's one of the things that I'll continue to say. Jared says, sick of hearing about head coach rumors. We know who he is and what he needs. If you like him and can donate, then do it. Listen, yeah, I mean, the rumors are going to be the rumors anytime. Rumors are going to be rumors anytime you have a head coach that is good and that is a hot commodity. I seen a lot on Twitter today about, people questioning his character and stuff like that and his commitment and stuff like that. And listen, I do think I don't like the character piece because I think he is genuine in, his love for the program and his love for the players and his staff and him wanting to, if things are perfect here, him saying, you know what, if I get what I want, I'll stay, right? So I think you still have to hold him, to that, but at the same time, he ain't getting what he wants. So like, I don't want him to go, but like if he has, like he really knows what's going on, right? We don't know. We can just sit here and speculate. And like we all can get a little bits and pieces of information from here and try to piece things together. But he knows everything that's going on. Him interviewing outside of here, him taking not Texas A&M, but him taking that U of H interview, although it is a step up. Like I said on the show before, it is a step up. But like I can see UTSA getting to U of H from an athletic program standpoint. Like, they're not too far off. Like, they're not out of reach. Like, A&M's out of reach. U of H is not out of reach. So, to me, especially for someone who has come out, I believe him when he say he likes to build. And I think that's why he's gotten so passionate about UTSA in general, because he still feels like, hey, there's a lot to build here. That's fun, right? But at the same time, if he's not getting what he's asking for and everything is like pulling teeth, and he is privy to everything that's going on in terms of what you know, the fundraising it actually looks like and the efforts that's actually going into raising money. If he's willing to make these these public statements so outwardly about I can't pay my staff. If you want me to keep up, then get me my money. If you want me to keep up, we need to figure out NIL. He is saying this stuff for a reason, 1,000%. He is saying this stuff for a reason, and to me, that shows that the people that is supposed to be doing that job he's not buying what they're selling him. I can tell you that right now. He ain't buying it. That's exactly what it is. He ain't buying it. And, you know, the head coaching rumors are not going to go anywhere because guess what? He's probably going to go interview somewhere else. To me, him going to U of H, he's like, I'm trying to get up out of here because there's something here that I'm not liking. I don't know if let's say for example, we do ended up getting a large influx of money that's going in. Does that keep him? I don't know. He could have gotten to a point where he's fed up now, or he wants change in those higher offices. He's probably not. He can't dictate that, but he might want change in those higher offices. And, you know, I don't know. Something is making him want to go look elsewhere. That's what I think. Let's see. I always thought Traylor was stable. When he interviewed for Houston, I now think he doesn't want to be here. I don't even think he wants to go to Houston. This is exactly what I was talking about. I don't know what he wants to do deep down in his heart. I don't think any of us knows that. But like I said, just the point that you're making is perfect. It's exactly what I feel. Him taking that interview means that something is wrong. And here's another part too. It might not just be on the AD and all that stuff. You know what he could be looking at too? He could be looking at, you know what, I'm losing Frank Harris. Rashad Wisdom is gone. We don't have the NIL money to maybe keep some of the huge talent that we have. You know somebody's going to offer Trey Moore a bag to enter the portal and stuff like that. Like, you know, he might be looking at like, you know what, I better get up out of here before I don't have an opportunity to get up out of here and we become a losing team. Because I don't have the resources to retain top talent. I'm not getting the resources to retain. Well, he's now gotten resources to retain his staff. But like, staff is one thing, but like what kind of players and athletes are you bringing in? If he feels like he can't compete, you know, he's probably going to say, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else. And from what I'm hearing also, U of H, I'm hearing that compared to the Big 12, you know, the other teams in the Big 12, they're not like hugely resourced either. But it may look better to him than this situation. But yeah, you're exactly right. Him going to interview for Houston shows me what his intentions is. And if he doesn't leave this offseason, he won't be here for long, I'll tell you that. Because the sad part about it, I'll tell you this, the sad part about it is if he doesn't go anywhere, the thing that's going to be the most sad, because I like that dude so much, I don't have a bad thing to say about him. I understand his situation. I don't want him to leave. But I am trying to be realistic about the situation to where it's like you can't get these people at the end of the day, it's a career, it's a job, right? So like, you know, if you got a job and you think it's better and they're paying you more, I'm sure you guys would get up and leave. I know I would. If a job came to me and I'm doing the same thing I'm doing in my current job, but they have a better, you know, stocks package and they have a better salary package and the benefits are better and you know, the work-life balance is better, I'm probably going to go to that. I'm probably going to take that opportunity, and that's all this is. So I don't like to get personal with it. But what will be sad and what is going to be sad is, let's say he does interview at another place or two and he doesn't get those jobs and he does come back and coach us. What's going to be sad is the way people turn on him. I don't want to see that. But I'm already starting to see some of that. And it's inevitable. And I don't blame people. Can't blame people. People are going to feel how they feel. They're going to back their school and their program over any individual. Completely understand that. But that's the part that's sad because I like him genuinely. Let's see. Alfred says, we are 0-4 in bowl games. Just need one win. It means a lot for this young program. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Those lot 13 days were rough. I bet they were. Jared Schroeder says people also forgot that he's only been here 4 years. The student fans that he created are just now graduating and may be able to contribute in the near future. Yeah, they could, but it's just, I mean, like, God, think about it. Those kids that are just graduating now are not going to be making much money to donate right now. You know, like some of them will be for sure, but I wasn't making enough money whenever I first graduated to donate. I can tell you that much. I can certainly tell you that much. But like I said, man, I just think that, like, I don't know, man. Like, I think there just needs to be more of an effort, more of a visible effort in just educating people the importance of all of this stuff. I talk to far too many people who don't know, who are alumni that don't know, even some other athletes that are alumni that I talk to who aren't on the football team. They have no idea. They don't know. Marcus Lambert says, how does the AD play into all of this? Who is pulling the purse strings in our athletic department? Yeah, that AD is definitely pulling strings, without a doubt. But like, it's her job. It's her job to one second. Let me look something up really quick. Yeah, it's her job to put, how can I explain this? To put systems in place to, you know, market the program. She may not be the person to execute some of these things. But if you think about an org chart, she's at the top of that org chart. And there's going to be different departments within that org chart that has, you know, a leader, and they're going to have people that are going to work more operationally. But as you go higher up the ladder, those are going to be your strategic minds. She's going to be a part of the strategic group. She's going to give them there's probably a big grandiose plan of where we need to be, where we're headed. And she's probably going to task them with, all right, how do we get there? And she's going to hold them accountable for execution on those said goals and said paths and objectives and priorities that are supposed to be met and supposed to be hit, right? So ultimately, although she may not touch every single thing herself, the head of everything is gonna that's where she sits, frankly. So that to me is how, and like I said, man, I think that I look at so many other schools and how they're covered and just wait, you know, things that they're doing to just bring more light to the program, to like keep fans engaged. Like this thing right here, this podcast we're doing, this is keeping people engaged and talking about the program, right? Like not me specifically, but like UTSA needs to be, you know, just those folks need to be more in tune with some of that stuff. Like they need to come in here and talk to folks in this particular chat. They need to go on I mean, and I'm sure they do. I don't know. I don't watch too much of anything else anybody else does, but I don't know if those people are going on those shows and talking with them much. Like obviously the big time media that are on radios and stuff like that, they're going to get, you know, sound bites and interviews and stuff like that. But like, I feel like there's a particular program that I look at a lot of their stuff. You can just tell, and there's some folks I know as well. So I'll be doing some collab stuff in the future, by the way, but there's just some stuff I know as well is like, hey, look, like these people are off. They offer themselves to not to help you out, but they offer themselves to help out the program because somebody may have a following, right? Somebody can, you know, there's other angles on how they can educate people on some things. And I just don't see us doing a lot of that, frankly. And from what I'm hearing also, I'm seeing that, but I'm also hearing it too from people who are a lot closer to the program that I currently am right now. And I hope we change that. We need to change that 100%. Ania says, think we need to tap into the NIL this offseason or it could get ugly rebuilding going forward. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, like if we don't tap into NIL, we're screwed. We're screwed. That's just the name of the game right now. I was just seeing, Matt Rule talk about it today. And you got to get a quarterback in the portal, you got to give him $1 million. And, I think it's weird to think about because, I've heard rumors of what Frank is getting paid, and I haven't heard anything near $1 million. I hear he's getting paid, but I ain't hear nothing near $1 million. Obviously, Matt Rule and where he's at is a lot more competitive in that realm than we are. But to your point, if we don't make a big splash with those NIL collectives this offseason, number one, our coach is going to, find a way to run up out of here, number one. But number two, how attractive is the job here going to be if we aren't able to execute some of those things? We can go get another hot coach that's looking to break away from being a coordinator to being a head coach somewhere, but he's going to leave in 2 or 3 years once we have a good season or two. Do you want to keep doing that over and over? I mean, yeah, some teams make their due off that, but I think, what would be great if we had someone that we can keep for quite a bit of time, 8 years or so, that can really, really, really take some time to build something real. And I think Coach Traylor has done that in his short time of being here. But the fact that he's probably going to walk here in the next, in his fourth or fifth season, and the reason is because we can't line up resources and we can't get him a freaking practice, indoor practice. That's just bonkers to me, bro. That's bonkers to me. We are in a state of Texas where half, and I'm talking 2, 3A, half of the high schools here have indoor facilities. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Anyway, I am going to wrap up there, guys. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and subscribe to that Patreon as well. I am about to go to one of the places and have one of my favorite places, Yard House, and have some wings. Get their wings, the buffalo wings or the black whiskey pepper wings. They're so good, I'm telling you. But I'm about to go have some dinner there. Thank you guys for showing up, and I will see you and talk to you guys next week. Peace.